Alright, my name is Justin. I have been contemplating doing the news because I watch the news quite a bit, and it seems everybody's really slanted left or right, and so pretty much I just want to know the news. I don't need you to tell me what I'm supposed to think. I can do all the thinking on my own, and I really just want the news in an unbiased fashion like it's supposed to be. So I guess it would help if you knew something about me. I was a cop for 12 years. I was on SWAT for 10 in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I quit that job. The politics of that job are ridiculous, and if bad guys don't listen, or if people don't listen when they're asked to do something, and they catch a beating, they catch a beating. And that's just the way it is. I haven't met a cop ever in all 12 years that handed out a beating to somebody just walking down the street. That didn't happen. What happens is, hey sir, will you do this? No, fuck you. Well, that's not how things work, and you can't expect the police to work that way. I realize society's really soft and they think they can just do and say whatever they want, and that's cool, but I mean, there is a time for professionalism. Hey sir, will you do this? Yes, fine, I'll do it, whether you want to do it or not. Just do it and you won't run into problems. Not that big of a deal. But everybody in America loves the Hug a Thug program, which is just act like an asshole, and then when the cops beat your ass, wonder why they beat your ass. Well, probably because you're being an asshole. So, anyways, I quit that job. I currently have a different job where I'm deployed. I travel quite a bit, so I get to see different parts of the world. And if you think you have it bad in the United States, oh my gosh, you are such a softie. What are my views politically? Well, politically, I'm very, probably moderate. Like, I'm very liberal in some ways. If you want to get an abortion, I don't fucking care. Okay? If you want to smoke weed, I don't care. That's your business. Do whatever you want to do. But at the same time, in other ways, I'm very conservative. I guess mostly gun rights and stuff like that. I mean, the Second Amendment's in the Constitution that you can have guns so you can overthrow the government. That's what the guns are for. The guns are not so you can go hunting. Okay? Anybody that ever took any kind of politics class, I mean, in high school you're supposed to take economics and political science, and I mean, you took history. The Constitution has the Second Amendment. In case the government got out of control, you would have guns so you could overthrow the government. That's what the guns are for. I don't know where these people get, oh, well, you shouldn't be able to have guns. Guns are America, man. If you don't like that, I mean, you're really down to the roots of how America started. America started by a bunch of people that didn't want a government telling them what to do. And then now we have this giant government telling us what to do. And so, that's what the guns are for. The left wants to take those guns so you can overthrow the government. The right wants you to keep the guns, I think, probably because it just gets some votes. I don't think they have it. I mean, I'm not quite sure what their agenda is, but the left just doesn't want you to be able to overthrow them after they start stealing all your money because they like the high taxes. So I wouldn't say I belong to a group. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. You know, I voted for Obama. First term Obama guy. I voted for that guy. I thought he was onto something. I thought he had a good plan. And, he speaks very fantastic public speaker. Voted for the guy. Supported the guy. Second term, not so much. Republicans didn't have anybody to vote for, so I just chose not to vote that one. I think that was McCain. That was a McCain, what was that chick's name from Alaska? Can't even remember. But, it'll come to me. So, didn't vote, don't like McCain. McCain's a softie. Especially for a guy that spent time in a Vietnamese prison, in the Hanoi Hilton, like, one of the worst places you could ever spend any time. I've read many books about it. And he's a softie, and so I don't get it. But appreciate his service, all that good jazz. All I do is work, everybody I work with is military, so, you know, love all these guys, man. So anyways, first term Obama vote, didn't vote for his second term, wouldn't vote for him. I mean, nothing he said came true. Everything he said was a lie and bullshit. I mean, everything. And then turn around, Trump comes up. Yes, I voted for Trump, man, because he says it how it is. And that's just a fact. You can love it or hate it, but it is how it is. And to be fiscally responsible is very important, even in your own household. If you can't make enough money to pay your bills, well, then you got to start cutting back on your bills. That's all there is to it. Or make more money. So you got to do, you know, if you can do both, that's even better. So that's where I'm at on that. All these Hollywood people don't care what they have to say. They're fucking actors. They pretend to be someone else for a living. I mean, geez, who couldn't do that? I mean, how they look and all that, that's all just money and fake and Photoshop and all this kind of stuff. So I don't understand why people are so infatuated with movie stars and what they believe, because who really cares? Kind of run movie stars and athletes right alongside each other. Who gives a shit what an athlete thinks? An athlete's an idiot for the most part. They chase a ball for a living. I mean, go cure cancer. Okay, you have my respect. You chase a ball for a living. That's cool if that's what you want to do. And some of them are probably very smart people. I shouldn't call them idiots. But what they chose to do professionally doesn't take a lot of intelligence. And so, you chase a ball. Why would I possibly care what you believe? You don't stand for anything. You stand for money, if anything. Like, you stand for, I can make a ton of cash to chase a ball. That's all you do. You chase a ball, so go chase the ball. That's all I care. That's all I want you to do. Chase that fucking ball and shut your mouth. Don't want to see you celebrate. Don't want to see you do anything. If you score a touchdown, you're supposed to score a touchdown. That's your job. So why would you celebrate for doing your job? I don't understand that stuff. But America eats it up, so whatever. Where am I at on the gay issues? Don't care. You want to be gay? Be gay. Okay? You want to butt slam your buddy? And that's what y'all like to do in your private time? That's your business. None of my business. Certainly don't talk about what I do in my private time. It's nobody else's business. So, I don't wear a shirt that says, hey, I love to bang my wife. That's stupid. I don't have some emblem that says, hey, you know what? I'm into my wife. I don't have one. I don't need to advertise that I'm into my wife. So I don't know why the gay folks need to advertise that they're gay. Don't care if you're gay. Be gay. Just be gay on your own. I don't need to know all your damn business. A lot of, I guess, my views, racially would be, I don't think there's that much racism in this world. I never saw it in the police world at all. So, don't understand why everybody's so down on cops as far as being racist. Now, do black people commit crimes at a higher rate than white people? For sure. That's a fact. There's plenty of statistics that support it. So I don't understand how people deny fact. It's just a fact. Now, does that mean all black people commit crimes? Certainly not. But, considering, and I would have to pull it up, there's something like 30% of the population, but they commit, and I don't know, I'm guessing, I would have to look it up. 50% of the crime, I mean, that says something. So, but does it make all black people bad? Certainly not. Certainly not. I've met a lot of great black people over the years. And I call them black people. I don't call them African American, because guess what? Nobody that lives here, well, I don't say nobody, but most of the black people in America are American. They're not African American. They're not from Africa. They're from Kansas or Tennessee or wherever they're from. Who cares? But they're from America. None of them have ever been to Africa. I'm certainly not Scottish American. I'm fucking American. I'm from Texas. That's all there is to it. I'm happy to be from where I'm from. And so, if anything, there's a lot more black racist against white people than there is white people racism against black people. So, when you have programs like affirmative action, where if I apply for a job, I'm certainly qualified, a black person applies for the job, and let's say they're equally qualified or less qualified, they will always get the job because the company has to hire them. So they're getting the job because they're black. I'm not getting the job because I'm white. That is racist. So, just using good common sense here, folks. Not to mention, you get the Black Lives Matter group, which is clearly a black power movement. Clearly, black power is what they stand for. It's what they're about. They do not like white people. They, in fact, hate white people. They incite issues solely on the race. Their people were chasing folks around Dallas, beating them up. So, and solely because they were white. So, the Black Lives Matter were chasing around white people and beating them up because they're white. Seems pretty racist to me. But everybody will say, oh, well, that doesn't stand for the whole group. Well, I'm sorry that a lot of your group was doing that shit. Same with the Trump voters, Black Lives Matter people, singling them out, inflicting bodily harm on them, but somehow none of the news channels covered that. So I don't understand how that works either. And so, that's mostly where I stand on things. And I mean, I'll give my opinion and stuff like that. But I watch the news, I'll apply good common sense, and we'll move on. It'll take 10 minutes of your day. In fact, today's May 31st. So you have a reference on what the day is and what we're talking about in the news. Roseanne's show got shut off. Who cares? She tweeted out something people said were racist. Don't care. She's an actor. I mean, if she wants to tweet out racist crap, that's her business. Not that I support it. But you can't sit here and say free speech and go saying one off-the-wall shit thing you're saying and then turn around and condemn somebody else for them saying free speech. So you can either support what ABC did and say, hey, we don't believe it's right, she shouldn't be able to do or say those things, we're taking her show off the air. Okay, if that's what you want to believe. I personally don't give a shit. I don't watch that show anyway. But if you support that, ABC being able to take her off the air for some shit she said, then you also must support the NFL for saying, hey, you're not going to protest on the field. It's not what the NFL wants. They're taking it off the table as something that can be done. And so it's only fair. You cannot support one of the, condemn one and support the other one. You cannot do that. So you just have to be fair. Use good common sense. You can support the Roseanne thing and say, hey, yeah, ABC should have kicked her off the air, but then you have to support the NFL and say, yeah, the NFL should not let them kneel during the national anthem. Or the other way around. I love the players in the NFL being able to kneel and protest during the national anthem of all times. Pick a better time, gentlemen. But then again, you'd have to think about it and not chase the stupid ball around, and that'd be tough for y'all to do. So you could kneel during the national anthem. Let's say the NFL says that. Well, then you have to let Roseanne Barr do her protest or whatever you want to call her little Twitter feed thing. Because at the end of the day, their protest is saying that cops single out black people and inflict injury and pain on them, and that's not true. That is just not true. It doesn't happen. I'm not saying it never happened ever in history. However, for the mass majority of things, it's not a widespread issue. That's nonsense and bullshit. So, that was one of the news stories. Another news story. Tommy Robinson, some British reporter, got arrested for reporting that Muslim gangs in Europe were, going out and they're raping females as Muslim gangs, and they had their court hearings today. He was arrested for covering their court hearings because they didn't want a bad image of Muslims put out, even though they were Muslim gangs raping women. So that's curious. Tommy Robinson in jail, 13 months for that. Different stories. If you watched MSNBC, there's a guy, Tim Wise, on there, who is the most self-hating person on the planet. I guess he can't stand that he was born white. He's talking about how white people are bad. MSNBC does nothing but hate on everything, and I don't even understand. It seems they're either covering racism, which again, don't think is that widespread. I think it's all blown out of proportion, and I think there's more black racism than there is white racism, but nobody will support that. There's not a college grant I can get, or scholarship that I can get solely because I'm white, but there's several of them I could get if I was black, and my only qualifier is I just have to be black. That's interesting. So anyways, that Tim Wise guy was talking about how awful white people are. And then MSNBC had some other people on there talking about how awful white people are. They're black people, and they obviously hate white people, but that's okay. You can put that on TV. But if you had, 4 white people and a black guy, and they all hate black guys, that would be racist. So I don't know how what they had on television is not racist, but it's the Rachel Maddow show and stuff, and that chick's an idiot. So it seems like all she ever talks about, just to cover her, is Russian collusion. Don't care about Russian collusion. Okay? If the Russians told me how bad Hillary Clinton is, well, shame on the news for not reporting how bad Hillary Clinton is. They should have been the ones to tell me, not the Russians. But since the Russians told me, hey, thanks Russians. Okay? If they would have came out and told me some dirt about Donald Trump that was seriously sad dirt, then yeah, I would have listened. I wouldn't care who told me how bad somebody is. I would like to know who the real person is. Fact is, with Hillary Clinton, she got military men killed, granted they're contractors, because she was too lazy to answer the phone. She wouldn't support her guys, and I know quite a bit about that contracting world. And yeah, shame, shame, shame on her. She was directly involved in the deaths of U.S. servicemen. So, pretty much can't vote for that chick. Not to mention she's a raise your tax person, a hug a thug person, white people suck. Especially the white male. Oh my god, to be a white male nowadays is the worst thing you could be. And that's so hard to believe. Like, in a world of equality, if you're a white male, you're already got one strike against you. So that's curious. What else can we talk about? That's about it for the news. Guess what? Hawaii is a volcano. That's crazy. That volcano's erupting, and it's tearing up shit. Big shocker there. People that stayed behind and didn't evacuate when they should have, they're in trouble. Big shocker. Again, Darwin had a theory on all that, and that's stupid people die. And it seems to be like what's happening over there should those people get stuck. I don't know. I hope they don't die. But, I mean, kind of their own fault if they do, don't you think? And, they should not have stuck around. It's a fucking volcano. Should I be shocked that a volcano is erupting in Hawaii and tearing shit up? Probably shouldn't be that shocked. Kind of like the people in Florida getting their houses torn up from hurricanes. Guess what? You live on the beach, you live in Florida. Guess what comes through there? Hurricanes might tear your shit up. That's the risk you run living there. Like, own up to it. Okay? I mean, rebuild, move on. Life ain't that difficult. Other than that, that's all I got for today as far as news. There was nothing else. Nothing else worth talking about. Catch you tomorrow. Later.